I would say that the two most noticeable next KD products have been the following two players: Brandon Ingram of the New Orleans Pelicans and Amani Bates, who's currently the top-ranked junior in the country. The tall, skinny, scoring wing comparison that was always just very lazy. However, one that I think people kind of forget about is Michael Porter Jr. The 6'10 scoring machine on the Denver Nuggets is showing everyone why he was so hyped out of high school after it seemed to have died down just minutes into his college career. And while he may not be the next KD like some said he could be, he's proving he's well on his way to stardom. But before we get into today's video, I've noticed that about 62% of you guys that watch my videos happen to not be subscribed. So you happen to fall into that 62%, or you just happen to be doing like what you see, feel free to like, subscribe, hit notification bell, be notified whenever I release a video. I make videos to take elements from film essays and apply them to basketball. I also make videos covering the NBA draft and high school basketball as well. So if any of those things are of an interest to you, this is the channel for you. Let's try to get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend it to others. I don't know if you guys know this, but likes do go a long way in more people finding my video, so leaving one will be much appreciated. But with that being said, let's get right into the video. Michael Porter Jr. was the 2017 Recruiting Services Consensus Index ranked number 2 player. He was actually ranked first before Marvin Bagley III reclassified. His time in high school is known for being an EYBL teammate with future NBA All-Star point guard Trae Young, as well as putting up video game-like numbers as a senior at Nathan Hales. He's the best scoring prospect I've ever seen at the high school level since starting to take this stuff seriously. Porter Jr. was originally committed to play at Washington, which led many to believe he could become the program's second straight first overall pick, following in the footsteps of Markelle Fultz. However, Porter's father, who was on the UW coaching staff at the time, ended up leaving for Missouri's coaching staff following the firing of Lorenzo Romo, who was the head coach at Washington at the time. MPJ and his brother Jonte, who had reclassified up to join MPJ in that class, would follow their father to Missouri. Michael Porter Jr. was a contender for National Player of the Year, a contender for the first overall pick. However, anyone who was actually paying attention knew it was Luka and it wasn't even close, but you know, carry on, #talk soon. However, due to a lower back injury just minutes into his first college game, Michael Porter Jr. would miss all but one SEC tournament game and one NCAA tournament game, and his stats weren't good in those games either. However, despite this, many believed Michael Porter Jr. was still a top 10 guy in the draft, so obviously he would still declare for the 2018 NBA draft. And really, despite the injury, many still thought he was gonna go high in the draft. I heard some reports that the Kings were considering taking him with the second overall pick. I don't know how true those reports are, but in all honesty, people actually thought like that 6 to 10 range was very likely for where he was gonna get drafted. However, that's not what happened at all. Michael Porter Jr., who at one point was a potential first overall pick, didn't go first overall, didn't go top 3, didn't go top 5, didn't even go top 10. He went 14th overall to the Denver Nuggets, the last pick in the lottery. One pick after that, he would have been outside of the lottery. Now, to be fair, the idea of him falling outside the top 5, maybe even top 7, made sense. These were bad teams that had high picks, and MPJ had back surgery at a young age. That's very concerning, on top of the fact that he would likely have to medical redshirt the 2018-2019 season. And investing a top 5 pick in someone who will miss the entire rookie season isn't good for box office and fans when you're already a bad team. And to be fair, a lot of the picks in the top 5 worked out. Really, everyone in that top 5 has found some form of success in their young career, even if it isn't the most success that they were expected to given their draft slot. It's not bad enough to consider them a horrible pick. So again, I don't blame any of those teams in the top 5 for taking the players they did in this context. In another context, not so much. But even some of the guys that would go outside of the top 5 have worked out. They may not have the potential that Michael Porter Jr. does, but they still aren't bad enough to be considered busts. Wendell Carter Jr. was a key piece in the trade that landed the Bulls an all-star big, and Wendell has actually been pretty solid in Orlando when healthy. Colin Sexton has turned into a decently efficient new 25-point-per-game scorer in Cleveland. Mikal Bridges has turned into one of the better young 3-and-D wings in the league and is currently a key player on a team that's a top 2 seed in the Western Conference. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander looks like he might be the centerpiece of a potential awesome rebuild at OKC, and Miles Bridges is beginning to find his stride and has great chemistry with Hornets rookie sensation LaMelo Ball. Also, Miles is the best rapper in the league. However, there are teams that should regret passing on him. First is the Orlando Magic. They took Mo Bamba 6th overall over at PJ. Mo Bamba didn't play a lot in his rookie season due to injuries and being lower on the depth chart, understandably behind an all-star big man. So the thing for me is, what was the point of spending top 6 capital on a player you were barely gonna play? If you planned on bringing a player along slowly, why not bring a player who, when healthy, would have been long gone before your pick and develop him behind the scenes as he recovers from the injury? Instead, they decided to botch the development of a player they knew would be a project. The second is the New York Knicks. They took Kevin Knox with a 9th overall pick. And while there were flashes early on, it was clear that Knox's production as a rookie was because of opportunity, not actual impact, which was reflected by his poor efficiency numbers, as well as his reduced role within the offense over the next few years. This isn't as bad as the Bomber one in my opinion, because the Knicks actually gave him opportunity, but the front office really should have listened to the fans when they said that they wanted Mike. And the final team that messed up by not taking him in my opinion was the Clippers. Trading for SGA was a good move because he would develop into a great young guard with all-star potential that would be able to be traded for Paul George, which was a key reason as to why Kawhi would sign with the Clippers. However, drafting Jerome Robinson, 1 pick ahead of Michael Porter Jr. was not a good move. It wasn't at the time, and it still isn't, as Robinson isn't even in the league right now, and he barely played during his time with the Clippers. So like with the Magic, if you don't plan on playing the draft pick that much, why not just draft the tall, uber talented scoring wing who was going to need to probably take the year off anyways? But the past is the past, and now we must look at Michael Porter Jr.'s rookie season. As expected, MPJ would miss the entire 2018-2019 season. Now, his rookie season was actually pretty odd. He at best saw inconsistent minutes, and he averaged just 7.5 points per game in over his first 48 career games during the 2019-2020 season, and I had problems with this, and I will explain it later. However, he would show the potential he had over 7 games in the bubble, where he averaged 22 points per game and 9 rebounds per game on 50-40-90 splits. So it was clear that he was very talented. And the problem with his rookie season for me was that Mike Malone barely playing him early on meant he wasn't getting the reps needed to gain experience. Development behind the scenes and bringing players along slowly is fine, but for a player as talented as Michael Porter Jr., they need experience in game. And it's why Porter would end up being so inconsistent in the playoffs, because he didn't have the kind of experience needed. Yeah, he was awesome in those 7 games in the bubble, but at the same time, everyone was kind of getting their footing, and it was just kind of odd for everyone and a bit, awkward for everyone as well. So, it probably was a bit easier in those 7 games compared to the playoffs when everyone has their footing and everyone is playing a bit better and playing a bit harder as well. So again, it's just a completely different kind of beast, and the fact that he didn't have the experience hurt him in this regard. For the season, Michael Porter Jr. averaged 9.3 points a game on a 61.72 shooting percentage. He was 7th on the team in scoring, despite not even being top 10 in minutes per game. And this season, Michael Porter Jr. has been incredible. This season, he's averaging about 19 points per game and 7 rebounds per game on an insane 66.52 shooting percentage. In post-All-Star break, he's averaging almost 23 points per game and 8 rebounds per game on a near 69 true shooting percentage. He's shown enough for me to confidently say that he's one of the best shooters in the league, and the combination of production and efficiency at a young age is more than impressive. He's shooting an absurd 84.4% from the 0 to 3 foot range. That is absurd production that goes to the basket. In fact, he doesn't have a distance from the floor where he shoots under 40% from, which is really, really good, especially for someone this young and producing at the level that he is. Could he be a better and more willing passer? Yes. Could he get to the line more? Yes. Could he even be a better defender? Yeah, but those are things a lot of young players need to work on, especially scoring-oriented players like Michael Porter Jr. And they don't take away from the fact that he has so much potential as a scorer. Michael Porter Jr. was the best high school scoring prospect I have ever evaluated, and while he may not be the next Kevin Durant, he's showing everyone why he was considered so highly coming out of high school, and why some even thought he could be the potential first overall pick before the back injuries. But that is the end of this video. If you've made it to this point, thank you so much. Again, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, do all those things. Be a big help to me. Again, leaving a like on this video would mean a lot. More people will find my video if you do leave a like, so again, I would really appreciate that. But let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think about Michael Porter Jr.? Where do you think his ceiling is? How good has he been? Where would he go in the 2018 redraft? Where does he rank among the best young players in the league? Would love to hear stuff like that in the comment section below. I got more videos like this about the NBA. I also got more videos like this about the draft that are going to be coming up in the future. So again, be ready for more content, and I'm excited. It's going to be a great summer. I'm almost done with school, and I'm just excited. But with that being said, have a nice day.